If God is good, why did He create a world like this? Let's find out together. Hello everyone, this is David Sami with A Christian Journey. On this channel, we discuss theology, philosophy, culture, and everything that pertains to the Christian life. So if these are things you are interested in, you may want to consider subscribing. Have you ever wondered why, if God is good, why would He make a world like this? This is the second part in this series entitled, Why is Our World This Way? And many of us, if we look at our world the way it is, we can draw a conclusion that why would God, if God is good, why would He make a world like this that is filled with disappointment, hardship, death, and conflict? But there are certain truths that we human beings can discover by scientific examination. But there are other truths that we can only know through God's revelation. And this one is one of those subjects that if we don't turn to God's revelation to understand why would He make a world like this, we could draw a wrong conclusion. The Lord placed the first humans in a garden and gave them the task of cultivating the garden. There were no deaths, sickness, or hardships. There was, however, one prohibition. They were not allowed to take the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The idea behind the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was that whether Adam and Eve would let God decide what is good or bad for them, or will they decide for themselves? By partaking of the fruit, man declared his autonomy and independence from God. Here are some of the consequences of their decision, which in turn made our world the way it is now. First, it separated humanity from God. Their action was a rebellion against God, and it brought estrangement between God and humanity. One of the things that we don't hear about anymore is the fallenness of humanity. We are fallen beings that are estranged from God. We think of Jesus as the mediator between man and God. But the question is, why do we need a mediator if everything is fine between man and God? We usually need a mediator when there is estrangement between two parties. Number two, death entered human race as a result of that rebellion. In book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 12, we read, "Therefore, just as sin came into the world through one man, and death through sin, and so death spread to all men because all sin." Why do we have to die? Many people would say death is normal. It's just part of living. But why? Maybe death was not to be part of our experience, but it became part of it as a result of our ancestor rebellion against God. Number three, it brought conflict between sexes. Have you ever wondered why the relationships are so difficult between sexes? Why do we have so many divorces? Maybe it became this way. One of the interesting statements that God made to Eve was, your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. The word desire comes from the root word to run after or to run over. It's only used in 2 other places in the entire Old Testament. This may suggest that from that point on, Eve, you would want to run over your husband or control your husband, but he will try to rule or control you. Here we see that the root of the conflict between sexes is one of control. Have you found this to be true? Do you see this in your own relationships? Wanting to control your spouse and get them to do the things that you see fit. I'm of the opinion that prior to the fall, the relationship between Adam and Eve was an agreeable relationship, not one that is characterized by the desire to control one another. 4. We now have to earn our living with hard labor. Do you like your job? Do you look forward to going to work? Or do you look forward to the weekend? You see, before the fall, our livelihood was freely provided by God. But after the fall, the Lord told Adam, "Cursed is the ground because of you. In pain you shall eat of it all the days of your life. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread." In other words, both the environment and providing a living has become difficult. You see, most of the problems that we experience can be traced back to the fall. That fall not only changed our environment and the way we live, it also changed who we are. We like to do things in our own way and based on our own interest. The problem arises when our interests collide. That's when we come into conflict. I wonder what life would have been if Adam and Eve would have not rebelled against God. Maybe the whole world would have become a paradise and our whole experience would be different. But you see, for now though, the essence of Christian living, figuratively speaking, is to go back to the garden and tell the Lord that we want you to tell us what is good and bad. And we try to live according to your ways and a standard in a fallen world. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you and give you peace. This is David Sami with A Christian Journey.